This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Welcome to DBL. It is such a Friday. Such a Friday. It's November 12th. I'm Tori here with Erica and Al. And just so you know, I'm sitting on my security tag. They forgot to take the dress thing off. You know that thing?
Right, yeah.
So I'm just letting everyone
What a
know.
professional. You're
What a
powering through.
You're right.
I like it.
It's a struggle. It's a real struggle. All right. It's Friday. We're doing something a little different by starting with some lighter stories today. Yay! Let's get a round of applause for that, huh? Like Paris Hilton, who's now a married woman. Mazel. Paris posted this pic of her
picture.
in a veil and wedding dress with the caption, "My forever starts today." Paris and her now husband, Carter Ream, coolest name ever, right? Okay. Al doesn't think so. Tied the knot in Bel Air yesterday, and according to Page 6, the 3-day event will include a carnival on the Santa Monica Pier today, followed by a black tie soiree on Saturday. Paula Abdul, Emma Roberts, and Nicole Richie were seen arriving to the wedding. Oh, along with the mother of the bride, Kathy Hilton, who was a friend of the show. We just interviewed her. She was spotted in this white dress with little pink hearts.
Okay, somebody explain this to me because
Not good.
I just learned
You shouldn't wear white to
that
a
you shouldn't
wedding.
wear white. And then the next wedding story we cover.
Is that the actual dress that she wore to the wedding, though?
That's what we're seeing.
Probably not. That's her
don't think
showing
so.
up
That
dress.
it doesn't look like a
Dress?
It doesn't look formal enough.
Yeah, I know. It looks like
It looks like the pre-dress.
or like a robe before the dress. Yeah,
you know
maybe.
she had a pre-dress.
Yeah, that's all right.
So what do you guys think about all this? How do you guys feel? Paris Hilton getting married. Kathy, we just spoke to. You're a fan of the Real Housewives.
Yeah, you know, at first when we talked about Paris's wedding registry, I was like, okay, this is just too much. Like, why does she need a wedding registry? But I'm a big fan of weddings. I get very like.
But, I
there's-
cry at weddings. Yeah, definitely.
It's a new beginning. Although the stress for everybody leading up to a wedding, whether you're attending or you're actually in it, is like ridiculous.
Right.
But I think that this is a really interesting moment because Paris is now I think she is 40, and she kind of started this whole genre of reality TV, and it's like she's like the princess of reality TV. So to have this culminate in this way after her having a hiatus for so long, I think it's a big moment in pop culture.
I agree with you completely. There's a picture, or trying to get clear, but Kim Kardashian, who used to be her assistant on the reality show, is fluffing her wedding dress, like helping her get ready. And it's a nice moment of like, look at what reality, if you care, it's a nice little full circle moment. Am I right? Am I right?
I agree with that. I know a lot of people are like, I don't care.
Exactly.
But I like to see people happy. I'm sick of pain. Like there's so much pain in the world. Let's have some levity. Let's have some like moments of joy. I don't care who it is. Somebody be happy.
That's right. Al, what do you think?
Eric, I think you started something when you said that. I think that for a long time we've looked at people's pain and like somebody being broken is what makes them interesting.
Right.
Like, oh, he's a great guy, but he's, an alcoholic and he's got issues and that's why he's a ladies.
Dark.
All these kind of things. But sometimes you just like to see somebody having a good day.
Yes.
Sometimes being able to like have a snapshot of somebody on their best day, especially Paris Hilton, who has been through the ups and downs, been the subject of, public ridicule, been the face of like what it means to be a socialite as well. She's
and alleged
done both.
abuse at the
right, absolutely.
She's the face of that now.
I understand the other side. I can hear the other side. Like, who cares? She's rich. She's da da da. Yeah, we talking to you, okay? We are all going to decide on this great Friday.
That's right.
We just gonna have a little bit of joy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. No more pain. I can see people being like, thank God. Thank God.
We're just gonna have a little bit of joy. I love it.
I'm sick of the pain. All right, another amazing thing. Yes, I listened in the shower, the whole album. Taylor Swift has re-released her 2012 album,
You stayed
Red.
in the shower for a whole album?
And I ran out of hot water.
Oh, wow.
And then it got cold, and I was in my Taylor moment.
That's intense.
Okay. Taylor dropped the re-recorded album as part of her ongoing mission to regain ownership of her earlier music. It also includes new music and a 10-minute version of her song All Too Well that she turned into a short film about a bad breakup with an older guy. Have a look.
You said if we had been closer in age, maybe it would have been fine. And that
So for many years, people have speculated that All Too Well was a song about her split with Jake Gyllenhaal. Taylor was 20, and Jake was 29 at the time. Huh? Huh?
I'm going to say this. I want to get your opinions. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is a hero for what he did. He's safe. I'll tell you why. I think the reason that I always complain about older dudes dating young women is you're going to bring your old man problems into her early 20s. In your early 20s is a time that you can never get back. Erica, we can always argue about who paid too much for groceries and like, hey, who you backed into something with the car. Old people problems.
Right.
For a little while, you get to be 20 and sleep until 2:30 in the afternoon and then go back out. I just think I don't want you to have to like deal with I got to pick my kids up. You shouldn't be thinking about that when you're 20. And he let her have her 20s, and I respect that.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I really do see that, and I understand where you're coming from, and I actually agree. I agree. When we look at all the relationships, you know, whether they're romantic or friendships that have come and gone, like there's something that we learn and take away from all of those, if we're lucky.
Yeah.
So in this situation, like Taylor Swift has this catalog of basically a diary of all of these experiences. And I'm sure, like, you know, reminiscing or thinking back on that, there's probably more good than bad in that moment. But the idea of her singing about it resonated with so many people. She became the superstar that she is today.
And she's speaking about it actually on Seth Meyers, about that diary basically of all the long lists where she dished on re-recording songs about her breakups 9 years later. Take a look.
I wonder if there are people who might think that they were the one you were singing about, if it's easier or far, far worse for them 10 years later.
I haven't thought about their experience, to be honest.
I think that's the biggest burn.
There's something to be said. She's now with Joe Alwyn. He's a cute Brit with blue eyes, blonde hair. 4 years they've been together. What do you think, Al?
I'm excited for those kids. Yeah. Big Joe Alwyn fan, too.
Yeah. Do you know where he's from? What movie? What's that?
The part one.
I'm sorry?
We don't need to go. Our audience knows.
Okay, great.
That'd be disrespectful to throw it in their face.
That's nice of you, Al.
What movie was it?
He was in,
You don't know.
My favorite. Oh, man. My favorite? I don't know. But he's in a lot of little things. Good for him. We love him.
That better be the name of the movie, A Lot of Little Things.
A lot of little things. By the way, she might be playing her 10-minute song or a version on SNL this week. She is the musical guest.
That didn't help. You didn't know the name of the movie.
I was trying to move over that so you didn't hear. Coming up on DBL, Alfonso Ribeiro stopped by DBL. How did he react when Erica admitted her childhood crush on him? And we finally have a trailer. We do. For the Sex and the City. Now it's her turn to be embarrassed. For the Sex and the City reboot. And we will show you, yes, we will, get your Cosmos early ready. Next.
Closed captioning provided by
I like the way Lydia counts in because
she doesn't say,
does anybody want to talk? She just starts yelling numbers.
Can I be honest? I appreciate you just being like, someone go.
Yeah, somebody needs to talk.
You want levity, Paris Hilton. You guys, what is Joe Alwyn in? It's the one with the Queen Anne and her favorite.
Anne of Boleyn?
The favorite. Okay.
What's that about?
Is that all he's in? Joe Alwyn?
Yeah,
What
you
do
act like he's a household name.
That's embarrassing. Well, The Favorite was great with Olivia Colman.
And also,
Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz.
Most people probably only do one movie in their career. It's hard to get booked. If you do one movie, that's why, like, it always makes me mad when somebody calls somebody a one-hit wonder and makes it, like, seem like a bad thing.
You mean it's hard to do that?
You had a song that everybody on the planet decided was great.
Yeah.
If you do that once, it's amazing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's
What
so
about
weird.
those who make...
It's impossible to make a song everybody likes. You can't do anything everybody likes.
What's a song you think everybody universally likes, globally? Like La Bamba?
No. I would say Old Town Road or Happy.
Happy by Pharrell. John Lewis used to dance. What was it, Erica?
Despacito.
Oh, Despacito. Yeah, that got billions. Yeah, Despacito, and then what's the other one? That was Gangnam Style.
Gang, remember the thong song?
Yeah.
Macarena.
Yeah.
Macarena was a global.
Yeah, but
No?
that was pre-internet. And
I don't know how that happened.
That didn't. I think like.
That was pre-internet, honey. That was like
Yes,
93.
it was.
Yeah.
Macarena. So my aunt passed away this year, unfortunately. But my sister, when she was giving her like speech at the funeral, made reference that she brought the tape home from a cruise and taught us how to do the Macarena before anyone knew how to do the Macarena. So Auntie Pat was a trailblazer. She was a trailblazer.
Welcome back. The wait is over. We are finally getting a first look at the new Sex and the City reboot called And Just Like That. And just like that, take a look.
Life is full of surprises. And as your story unfolds, the city reinvents itself. And just like that, a new chapter begins.
It drops on HBO Max on December 9th. Will you guys watch?
Yes.
I will too.
Yes, absolutely. I'm watching. And was that Stanny?
I know, may he rest. Stanford, of course, passed away this year, and Sarah Jessica Parker has been a longtime friend and actor friend of his for like decades, and it broke her heart. I'm trying to get, we could look up Stanford's actual name, that'd be helpful. I'm sorry? Willie Garson, thank you. I just wanted to make sure we got that. But I think it looks, does it have the same flair, the same feeling?
I think it looks refreshed.
Yeah.
You know, there's a romance to it. And I think that's probably the appropriate way to go.
Yeah, you have a little bit of the special magic New York.
Yeah, because, you know, Sex and the City in the beginning was it was a little gritty.
Yeah, they'd look at the camera, remember?
Yeah, the way that what is it called? Like the camera filter.
Yes.
I'm in television.
Just say cinematography.
Yeah.
Just whenever you don't know, just say cinematography.
I say it all the time, but I wasn't sure that was the
right
vibe. Right. It was very gritty, and then you kind of got more of this like Real Housewives flair. I think Sex and the City, the movie, really made Real Housewives move in that direction of how we were seeing everything shot. And this feels like a little whimsical,
A little glossy.
Yeah.
A little polished.
Honestly, like that's kind of what happened in New York. If you think about it, New York was super gritty. Even when I lived there in the early to mid 2000s, and now you go there and there's Shake Shacks and like chain stores. There's Kmart's, and that was never.
No,
Kmart.
There's a lot of Kmart's, like
There's a lot
chain
of Kmart's.
stores.
All right, before we
chain
go,
Subways.
thank you
When
for
I
the
think
Kmart
of not
update.
gritty, I definitely think of Kmart.
All right.
New York was anti-chain for a long time.
Thanks for the Kmart update. Before we go, we do want to give a shout out to a teacher in Maryland who won the $1 million Global Teacher Prize. Here's how she reacted to the news. Take a look. Oh man, those videos always make me cry. 12th grade English teacher Kashia Thorpe won the award for spending hours helping kids with college applications and financial aids, and hopes to help other students access higher education with the money. Al, you are a teacher. How do you feel about this?
Just like these are the teachers I want everybody to think about when you see teachers getting yelled at by parents. Like these teachers go to work every day for not a ton of money. It's out of the love, and I'm glad that she got some money for her hard work. So shout out to her. Enjoy that money.
That's right. DBL says mazel tov to you, Miss Thorpe, and congratulations. You deserve it. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Alfonso Ribeiro, his response to Will Smith's memoir that dishes Fresh Prince secrets, and I want to see the Erica thing. Yeah, that's coming up next.
Oh my gosh.
A post circulating on Facebook claims the coloration of the woolly bear caterpillars, also called woolly worms, can predict the upcoming winter. If the woolly bear is mostly black, it means a harsher winter. If mostly brown, it means a milder winter. If brown at the head with more black near the tail, it means a winter that starts mild and ends harshly, and vice versa. So let's verify. Do woolly worms predict the pending winter? Our sources are the National Weather Service and Frank Fowler, biologist with McNeely Pest Control.
There's been a lot of studies, a lot of folklore about the woolly bear, and no studies have ever concluded that they actually can predict future weather events. However, the coloration and the length of the bands do have a correlation to how severe the previous winter was. When they're born in the spring, they're all black, and the more warm growing season they have, the wider that brown rust-colored band becomes in the middle.
The National Weather Service notes the coloring also indicates the age of the caterpillar. Each time it sheds its coat, it becomes redder. As for why the insects are so furry, Fowler said the coat protects them from freezing, down to -90 degrees Fahrenheit. So we can verify, no, woolly bear caterpillars cannot predict the upcoming winter, but their coloring can indicate the severity of the previous winter.
Welcome back to DBL. From his role as Carlton on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to hosting America's Funniest Home Videos, Alfonso Ribeiro continues to make us laugh. And the funniest thing about today's interview is how the 12-year-old Erica showed up in the middle of it. That's today's Chatting with the Stars.
Hey guys, how are ya?
I just learned this today, and it blew my mind. Okay, so we all know that you starred in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
You just learned that?
But wait for it, Albert. Wait, I used to watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air like none other. But here's what I did not know. I had no idea that you had to choose between that show or Will Smith's future wife, Jada Pinkett Smith's show on A Different World. Why did you end up choosing the role of Carlton Banks, and did you ever talk to both Will and Jada about that decision?
Oh, well, I mean, no. I mean, obviously, you know, let's just say in hindsight, it was a very clear win. But I had done a guest spot on A Different World, a character that was going to come back the next season with Jada. Jada was going to come back, and I was coming back, and I had the opportunity to audition for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I just felt like starting something new, starting something that was off the ground, that was going to be a lot more fun. The role had a lot more juice and was, you know, three-dimensional, and I felt like I could do more with it. So I chose to go with that one instead of doing A Different World. I think it worked out.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that juice and three-dimensionality.
Yeah, dimensionality.
Yes. Lord have mercy.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's ever said that
like,
word.
I'll just make that up and stumble all over it. My bad. Because you guys really had the opportunity to tackle some issues that we're still speaking about this day. And you know, in his shocking new memoir, Mill Swift, Lord have mercy.
Is he getting you tongue-tied?
You know what? Honestly, Alfonso, I'm going to be very honest.
She feel a little something. You feel a something, girl. You feel something.
Alfonso, I'm not going to lie. I am not going to lie. I am getting tongue-tied. You were like one of my crushes growing up, and I swear to you, I swear to you, this happens to me.
I could tell she was feeling a little something. I knew.
Oh my gosh. Wait a second, Alfonso, Erica never gets tongue-tied.
She's never done it.
So, Will Smith says he remembers the moment that Fresh Prince jumped the shark. It was during season 5, episode 15, when your character, Carlton, decided to carry a gun. So do you feel the same way Will does about this episode?
You know, when I read that, I was like, what that dude talking about? He don't know nothing about jumping the shark. He making it up as he goes. The reality was that Will's career was jumping off. There was no question that he was going to become a movie star. And, you know, at the end of that season, which is the part that he is saying is true, he did come to all of us and say, listen, this is my last season doing the show. I'm going to leave, but I'm going to give you guys one more season so that you guys can figure out what you want to do after that. But you know, I felt like this show could continue to go on. And I do know that for him, and he'd always said this, that he felt like we started to regurgitate storylines, that we were just coming up with new ways to say kind of the same thing. And I understood that. Shows continue to do that, and shows always find new ways, but that is kind of what life is like. Things don't just happen to a person one time in their life. Sometimes it happens over and over again in many different ways, and that's kind of what true life is all about. So I didn't really have a problem with that, but I understood that his movie career was going to jump off, and he'd already done Independence Day and Bad Boys, running around Miami with no shirt on. How was he going to be the corny, big-eared guy that was, you know, being silly?
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you. Keep going, Jeff.
Alfonso, America's Funniest Home Videos is one of the longest-running primetime shows on TV. But my question is, why do you think people are still tuning in when they could just watch the internet?
Well, because family television no longer exists. We don't have a way to sit down and watch a show together. And, you know, ABC having it at 7 o'clock on Sunday nights, it's that getting ready for the week and sitting down together and laughing together. You could be with grandma, you could be with the grandkids, you could be everyone in between, and there's something for everyone. And look, yes, there's a way that you could go online and you could absolutely find funny videos, but you're never going to find them packaged the way we do it, and you're never going to find an entire hour's worth of great videos knowing that you're going to laugh the whole time for everybody. You go on the internet and you start searching for videos, you don't know where you're going to end up.
It's true. That's the best answer.
So well said. Thank you so much for joining us, Alfonso. We're going to go ahead and get Erica.
Erica, you want to say goodbye?
Yeah.
Put on some Sade and give her a dark room.
Oh, my goodness.
DBL Nation.
Bye, girl.
America's Funniest Home Videos Sunday nights on ABC. Thank you, Alfonso. We'll be right back.
That was amazing.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verified viewers texted us and emailed us to share claims that Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla was arrested for fraud last week. One Facebook post was shared more than 600 times, and this tweet was retweeted more than 1,000 times. So let's verify. Was Pfizer CEO arrested by the FBI? Our sources are Pfizer, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the Westchester County Department of Corrections, and the Administrative Office of the United States Courts. Many of the posts contain a link to a blog called Conservative Beaver. The author cites an unnamed FBI agent as their source and claims Bourla was charged with fraud because he lied about the effectiveness of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, misled customers about side effects, and paid off the government and media. They then claim Bourla is being held while awaiting a bail hearing. Verify checked with the local jail near Bourla's home and the Federal Bureau of Prisons and were unable to find any record that Bourla was in custody. That same day, Bourla was interviewed on CNBC and CNN talking about Pfizer's experimental COVID-19 antiviral pill. And a Pfizer spokesperson succinctly told Verify in an email, quote, "This is a false claim," unquote. Verify also checked with the federal court to search for any charging documents and were unable to find any record despite the law requiring defendants make an initial court appearance within 72 hours of their arrest. So it's false that Pfizer CEO was arrested by the FBI. Bourla was previously the victim of a viral false claim that he didn't receive Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, but he did. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
College enrollment is down, way down. Fewer folks are signing up for classes across the board, whether it be community college, undergraduate, or graduate programs. Overall, enrollment is down 3.5%. And when you look at just students going to college straight out of high school, that's a 7% drop. The National Student Clearinghouse says we haven't seen a dip this big in more than 50 years. Community college enrollment is down about 15% in the last 2 years. Researchers say this is troubling since community colleges often enroll more low-income students and students of color. Usually, when we're coming out of a recession, college enrollments go up so folks can learn new skills to fill open jobs. That hasn't been the case this time around. The pandemic meant when the economy was recovering and more people usually go to school, recent high school grads went straight for the jobs instead. If more people aren't going to college, then there are fewer skilled workers available to hire, and the economy suffers long term. And that's connecting the dots.
Talking about DBL.
You guys are a blast. Every single thing you're talking about, I want to sit there with you.
You sound great and you look great.
Thank you very much, Sean Stamos. That means a lot.
What a pleasure it is to look at all of you. You're all doing just a great job.
I love the show because it's smart, it's entertaining.
Y'all got really good questions.
You guys are on fire.
DBL is feeling the love.
I was listening to your conversation. It's so interesting.
Okay.
He was talking about my conversation.
He wasn't. Welcome back. Gas prices are climbing, but we've got some tips to help you spend less money at the pump. That's today's Auto Alert, sponsored by Car Care.
You have to say it like that.
Yeah, with that music to help your car get more miles to the gallon. Here are some rules to live by. 1, keep an eye on your tire pressure. Even a few pounds below the recommended tire pressure can have a big impact on your miles per gallon. I didn't know that. Next, take the junk out of your trunk. Excuse me? The more your car weighs, the more fuel it needs to use. Lastly, use cruise control. The system will actually use the least fuel possible to maintain your desired speed. Car Care is dedicated to providing you with amazing auto protection plan experience that works with your budget. If you're looking for better car care, give them a call at 1-800-206-9194.
Those are great tips.
Really helpful.
So much so somebody dropped a glass back
who
there.
was that?
They were shocked.
Who was that?
I don't know. How would I know who it was?
Sorry.
We're on television.
Okay, sorry. DBL's new every day. Have a safe weekend. Have a good Monday. Bye. We'll see you Monday.
There is, it's a palpable sense of urgency this year among employers who are looking for seasonal workers.
This year, employers are trying hard to convince you to work for them. Want proof? Just look at jobsiteindeed.com. More than 10% of seasonal job postings there mention urgently hiring. Last year, those words only appeared on 1% of postings. Workers are still in short supply. Some are taking their time getting back into the workforce after either getting laid off during the pandemic or quitting. And frankly, it pays to be choosy. If you're looking for a side hustle this holiday, keep an eye out for how an employer is sweetening the pot. Amazon, for example, is offering a signing bonus of $3,000 in some locations, plus an extra $3 an hour for working certain shifts. The bottom line, do your research and don't be afraid to ask for what you want. The extra money you make will help. The holiday season will be more expensive because of product shortages, among other things. And that's connecting the dots. Alexandra Lewis, 9 News.
This November, don't miss a minute of DBL. I cannot wait.
You want to play it safe? Nah, girl, we want to know.
You don't feel like that's a little bit weird?
No. I got to agree with Tori here. Hey, stop. I don't want to hear it.
Here's how I feel. Okay, stop.
I know.
You mean like hooligans?
Is the hooligan problem under control?
There's no such thing as guns. I'm talking about.
We're off to a good start. DBL is always all new every day.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Paris Hilton gets hitched in a multi-million-dollar wedding. See all the stars who were there, and why did Mom Kathy wear white? A new study says more women are going for younger men. We'll tell you the reason behind the age gap trend. A mother is sex trafficked for 5 years. How she escaped the horrifying nightmare.
This can happen to me. It can happen to anyone.
Plus, our red carpet interview with 50 Shades of Grey star Jamie Dornan.
Never be denied.
Everlasting love.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane?
This is a sham.
No.
Just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. It is Friday, thank goodness, November 12th. I'm Sam here with Al, Jeff, and Tori. And because it's Friday, we're going to do things a little bit different today. We're going to start with something a little bit more lighter, some feel-good stories. For instance,
okay.
Paris Hilton. She's now a married woman. Who doesn't love a wedding? Paris posted this pic of her in a veil and a wedding dress with the caption, "My forever starts today." Paris and Carter Reum tied the knot in Bel Air yesterday, according to Page 6. The 3-day event will include a carnival on the Santa Monica Pier today, followed by a black tie soiree tomorrow. Paula Abdul, Emma Roberts, Nicole Richie were all seen arriving to the wedding, along with the mother of the bride, friend of the show, Kathy Hilton. There she is, spotted in this white dress with little pink hearts. And many of you are debating whether or not that's what she actually wore to the wedding. What do you think?
I don't think that's what she wore to the wedding, but I'm just learning about wedding protocol. Like, is that not cool to even show up in? Like, what?
Because it's white?
Because it's white.
I think every wedding's different. And with Paris Hilton, I'm sure she and her mom went over every detail.
That's true, but I was watching behind the scenes stuff with Paris and like the docuseries, and she goes, "You know, Paris, this is my wedding too." So like, Kathy feels a little bit of ownership.
I think a lot of mothers and fathers feel like that.
My mother was very much like, "This is our wedding," which, to be honest, I like really enjoyed. She has much better taste than I do, and so I don't think that's what she wore. I think it was probably like a cute little love cover-up, and I think she probably went more all out than that. That doesn't look formal enough to me.
But her hair is very formal.
True, but I think
very formal.
True. I think she like switched it out.
I have a little anecdote that just came in because, you know, we're learning little things about Paris's wedding as the day goes on. And I have a feeling that you're going to, okay, let me just ask you. Paris said that she and her fiance at the time, now they're married, they really thought about how their first kiss was going to be in front of all those people. They decided on a good, long, deep French kiss, quote unquote.
With tongue?
I don't know about
French,
but
yeah.
it's a deep, long French kiss. What do you make of that?
Gross. Come on, man. It's for pictures. You don't want to get a picture like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeff. I thought
It's
it
a
was too
real,
much.
but I mean, even him
That's what the
doing
picture's
that,
gonna look
too much.
That's
No, but what if I did that at my wedding? You guys would say ew.
I
And if
would
it's
say
Paris
ew.
Hilton, everyone's like, yay. No, it's not. It's gross.
too much.
You are saying it's too much,
It's
Mr.
too much.
It's okay if your parents are getting it on and you walk in on them?
No, I'm not
When did
saying
that
it's
happen?
okay. I'm just saying that I'm happy that they're having a healthy sex life. But that's neither here nor there. That I'm assuming they have the door closed. This is a wedding is a very door open event, and PDA is expected, but there's supposed to be a certain level of decorum.
Yes.
And decorum and tongues do not mix. And
Like you had a deep French kiss, be honest.
It's amore.
Oh.
You did?
No, that's rude. Mom, my parents were standing behind me in a chuppah. The rabbi's right there.
Did he whittle it out of a piece of wood?
It had to be one piece of wood. But I gotta be honest. Do you think it's the Travis Barker, Kourtney Kardashian PDA that's like spurring this?
No, I don't think
on?
they're thinking about that.
Yeah.
Everybody is not thinking about Travis Barker and Kourtney.
Paris Hilton certainly would be. She's in that world.
You're kind of rock starry. Did you go for it a little bit?
Oh, no. And Mark and I talked about it.
Yeah.
We definitely rehearsed it. Yeah. We said, what are we going to do? Is it going to be like a little peck, like a 3-second long like kiss?
You turn
and
which
Mark
way?
actually covered. We had a little good kiss, but he covered us.
No. How did you do that?
He covered us.
With his hand?
Yes.
So your wedding
No, with
pictures
the
looks like
cake.
this?
Yeah, like you're being photographed by the paparazzi.
It's our 50th year anniversary.
What was yours at the courthouse?
What?
What was yours at the courthouse?
What do you mean? What was ours?
Your picture. Not even a picture.
Or the kiss.
You didn't kiss your
Of course
wife
I
at
did.
the courthouse?
But we didn't talk about it like psychos.
Okay, but what-
We just know that we're not going to make out.
Okay, but what did you do at the courthouse?
We kissed.
Like
Was
what?
it like quick, or did you like?
Yeah, it was
did
like
you
a
hold
nice
her
kiss.
head?
Oh,
Did you
we're
dip
married.
her?
Get out of here.
No one
Okay,
dips
all right,
at
we're
the
gonna move.
courthouse.
We're moving on.
There's an arraignment right behind you.
Some guy's got got to get his speeding ticket cleared. Get out of here.
So Taylor Swift has re-released her 2012 album Red. Taylor dropped the re-recorded album as part of her ongoing mission to regain ownership of her earlier music. It also includes new music and a 10-minute version of her song All Too Well about a bad breakup with an older guy. Have a look.
You said if we had been closer in age, maybe it would have been fine, and that made me want to die.
So for years, many have speculated that song was about her split with Jake Gyllenhaal. Taylor was 20, Jake was 29 at the time. Tori, we all know that you love Taylor Swift.
What? Yes.
So do you believe that this is her finally coming forward about the Jake Gyllenhaal split?
Yeah, I think she's just being really transparent, and I don't think she cares about the after effects. I listened to the whole thing in the shower.
The entire album?
The entire album.
Wait, like an hour and a half in the shower? That's weird.
I ran out of water.
She makes out at her wedding.
And I just love, I like Taylor since she got me through some things. To me, this album really sounds just more mature, sounds really great. I highly, highly recommend it. It's just a great album. I'm glad she took her voice back.
I don't know if anybody's ever said I highly recommend an album.
Why?
Because that's not how people talk to their friends. They say, dude, get this. No one's ever said I highly recommend it.
Dudes, get this album.
No, not like that. I don't know, Sam, I'll say this, and I want to know if you disagree with me. I feel like Jake did the right thing. At 29, she's 20. He let her go. He let her have her 20s. He's dealing with this old man stuff. About the 30s, your old man energy. You don't want to bring that to a 20-year-old. 20-year-old Sam was out kicking it, nightclubs. You don't want to be like, I got to go meet Al and his kids.
20-year-old Sam was pretty wild.
Right.
Yeah, she was. But 20-year-old Sam was, I would say, equivalent maturity-wise to a 29-year-old man. So I don't think 29-year-old men are old men energy. I think men, and this is a generalization, okay? I think that men mature a lot later than women. So I think that may have been a good matchup for them. So I don't agree with your escape the cage.
I think he did her a favor. Okay. Because she had her 20s, she wrote all those albums.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Not maybe.
They would have been married. All right. Well, Taylor was on Late Night with Seth Meyers, where she talked about re-recording her breakup songs 9 years later. Watch.
I wonder if there are people who might think that they were the one you were singing about, if it's easier or far, far worse for them 10 years later.
I haven't thought about their experience, to be honest.
I think that's the biggest burn.
So she just re-recorded her album? Mm-hmm. So why did you say it was like this new mature album?
There's new songs, new lyrics, different sound. Remember, she's trying to get away from the ownership of previous Scooter Braun. She's trying to make this Taylor's version a little deeper.
But listen, she's still pushing the same, she's playing the same song. She's with somebody now for 4 years and she's still talking about her breakups on late night? You know what I'm saying?
What else is she supposed to talk about?
She could talk about being happy in her marriage.
In a relationship for 4 years, not about, I don't care what they're doing. It's like she left to go to college, went away, and then came back to the same bar, and she's like, remember high school football?
Yeah.
Well, it's not her fault.
She's very varsity jacket with her right now.
She does.
But she's re-recording.
Thank you.
No, she walked into the late night show with the jacket off her shoulder, Letterman on it, and she's like, what's up, dudes?
Yeah.
No.
She high schooled it up.
It's not her fault she had to re-record her album because of the whole Scooter Braun.
All right, you got to make a movie about your breakup 10 years ago? You got to make a movie about it?
First of all, yeah, because look at the playlist and the money she's making. People are aching. They waited till midnight to listen
Nobody
to
lays in the shower like you.
Oh, really? Taylor Swift fans, write into Jeff if you disagree.
Oh. Whoa, she stuck them on you.
Yeah.
Wow, hey, Big Brother fans.
Oh,
yeah. Come get Tori. You're out there. She's going to get it more than me.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Oh, God.
You don't want that smoke, Tori.
I don't want, you got
Closed captioning provided by
Jeff, this is from Dorothy Lewis. Jeff is right. She needs to do something else. Again, she was re-recording. But listen to this, guys.
Totally tried to stick like a mob on me.
No, I didn't. You were putting me down.
I don't know how I feel about that.
You were just saying no one lays.
I know. It's like putting a beehive on you. That could like ruin your...
Did you not have amnesia?
The power over the Swifties like that?
First of all, did you not have amnesia? You said no one
lays.
lays in there listening to it like you. There's millions and billions of people doing it. I'm standing up for myself.
You're standing up for yourself by thousands and millions of
No,
people
you were saying
on
no
me?
one listens to it like you do, and I'm simply saying that's
Well, good thing nobody listens to you because no one's gonna write.
Okay, Katie H writes in, the pastor who officiated my wedding made us redo our kiss because it was too polite. So on the do-over, I grabbed my husband's face and I planted one on him. What a weird pastor. My deepest respects.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that. That's
I don't
a
want
bit
to say anything before
controlling.
Tori says the Catholic Church afterwards. See?
I can't stand up for myself, huh?
You can't. You stand up for yourself. Don't call your big brother.
What do you mean?
No pun intended.
You said no one is listening to Taylor Swift.
I didn't say, hey, Beyonce fans. She doesn't. She hates your music. That's a big deal.
You said no one's listening. I said Taylor Swift fans, write in if you're listening. That's all I said. I responded.
You said right. You go right into Jeff, meaning sick 'em. How is this? That's exactly what you meant, right?
I didn't use that term. It was a sick 'em.
It was a sick 'em. Everybody write in if you're a Taylor Swift fan because you have nothing to do and you're crazy, and write into this guy.
How many people do you really think are going to write it?
0. That's why I just said what I said.
Okay.
You did. You did.
He put me down, and he said a lie.
You don't pull a whole family.
You don't do that.
What do you mean?
You don't send a whole group of people on somebody.
Oh, you guys, he said no one is laying down on the shower and listening, and I said, yeah, they are.
I didn't put people on you. I wasn't like, hey, Tori disagrees with me. If you watch Big Brother, make fun of her on her Instagram. That's not cool.
Welcome back to DBL. Tori and Jeff are still arguing about Taylor Swift. I can't. So,
Get him, everybody.
Okay.
Speaking of high school,
Oh my
look at this
God,
one
I
over
was
here.
standing up for myself. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, who's a bully out there? Go get Jeff.
All right, enough.
I don't sound like
enough.
You do when you're in the shower.
Okay, the wait is finally over. We are finally getting a first look at the new Sex and the City reboot called And Just Like That. Take a look.
Life is full of surprises. And as your story unfolds, the city reinvents itself. And just like that, a new chapter begins.
It drops on HBO Max on December 9th. I got chills.
Me too.
Clearly, you're a little shaken up from that trailer.
And I know this sounds silly because I'm not like crazy like into fashion. I'm not. But there's something about Sex and the City. Of course, the storyline, the camaraderie, the girl power, all of it. And I love seeing them age. There's something about that fashion too.
And also New York. How good does New York look? I was thinking about it. Sex and the City. It's very like glossy, polished, and we've had a lot of bad stuff happen. I want to see a glossy, pink, frolicking, doily-looking movie. I do. I don't want to see gritty New York. I want to see a polished New York. Have I said it enough? That's how I feel.
I mean,
it's probably a movie set.
I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think that the title and Just Like That is kind of like a overarching like theme that was your life? Like you blink and that was your whole life? Like that, because we started, she's a young woman looking for love with her young friends looking for love. Then they found it, their kids.
Emotional. That's beautiful.
And just kind of like, it kind of seems like that's really what they.
Just like that.
And at the end of every Carrie thing, remember she goes, and just like that, I learned a new lesson. So it's a little double entendre.
Wow. Are you going to watch this, Jeff?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, but I think if Jordan had it on and she was on the couch, she'd sit there. It's like a pass, like if
Probably
it's on.
wouldn't.
I
There's
bet
like
you
certain
would
shows.
love it.
I don't know if I'd love it, but I've seen enough episodes where I could follow it, and I know the relationship, so I wouldn't be.
It's not that
I'll tell you what,
complicated.
if that girl, Samantha, comes back, I'll watch it.
Oh, I think a lot of people feel like that.
No, they said they're not killing her off anymore.
They could CGI her in.
No, they're not. Yeah, you're right. There's a possibility.
Yeah, so they could do another one and somehow slip her in there.
Did you say they could CGI her in?
We got technology now.
Okay.
2021. Welcome.
Al's not even here.
We'll be right back.
A post circulating on Facebook claims the coloration of the woolly bear caterpillars, also called woolly worms, can predict the upcoming winter. If the woolly bear is mostly black, it means a harsher winter. If mostly brown, it means a milder winter. If brown at the head with more black near the tail, it means a winter that starts mild and ends harshly, and vice versa. So let's verify. Do woolly worms predict the pending winter? Our sources are the National Weather Service and Frank Fowler, biologist with McNeely Pest Control.
There's been a lot of studies, a lot of folklore about the woolly bear, and no studies have ever concluded that they actually can predict future weather events. However, the coloration and the length of the bands do have a correlation to how severe the previous winter was. When they're born in the spring, they're all black, and the more warm growing season they have, the wider that brown rust-colored band becomes in the middle.
The National Weather Service notes the coloring also indicates the age of the caterpillar. Each time it sheds its coat, it becomes redder. As for why the insects are so furry, Fowler said the coat protects them from freezing, down to negative 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So we can verify, no, woolly bear caterpillars cannot predict the upcoming winter, but their coloring can indicate the severity of the previous winter.
Welcome back to DBL. Sex trafficking is real and it can happen to anyone. Megan Lundstrom is a perfect example. She was a young mom who was fleeing an abusive marriage. Here is her story.
Megan was an honor student with big college plans, but then life forced her down a dangerous and devastating path.
At 23, I really thought that I could just escape all of the hard stuff and, physically move away and that everything would get better.
But life as a single mom is hard. So a friend introduces her to sugaring to make some extra money.
It's marketed in this really pretty, beautiful way of like, oh, you're just spending time together. This affluent individual is helping you get through school.
Megan quickly realizes the sinister underlying factor of the term.
So I had tried it a few times, thinking very naively that that's what sugaring was, and found out very quickly that it wasn't, that it was essentially prostitution, and didn't feel comfortable doing it. I did not want to do that.
Megan's boyfriend becomes her first trafficker and pushes her to take sugaring to the next level.
He pushed me into just outright prostitution. He controlled all of the money. I had to ask for bills to be paid, and things just escalated from there.
Finding herself in another abusive relationship, Megan moves out of state.
I happened to go on a trip with one of my regular customers out to Las Vegas, and long story short, ended up being sold to another trafficker to eventually be able to stop the harassment from the first trafficker.
9 months in Vegas, Megan starts to question everything after another victim receives a gift from their trafficker.
She's getting a used vehicle after 5 years. And I know how much money he's taken from me in less than a year, could pay cash for a brand new vehicle. She's just now getting this. Like, I don't want to do this for another 4 years for a used vehicle. Like, that's not adding up in my head at all. And so at that point, like, my motivation just really, it just stopped. It just died. I didn't see the point in doing this anymore.
Her trafficker realizes that he is losing control.
He said, you need to leave town. And if I ever see you on the Las Vegas Strip, we will have problems.
But it's the only life Megan knows. So she continues to book clients back home.
At the time, I'm still coming out of this brainwashing situation. So I believed fully that I was not good at anything else, that nothing else was possible for me to do, that this was essentially my calling and my place in life. But I also knew very practically that I did not have other options to exit quickly.
And earlier we sat down with Megan to understand how easy the lines can blur and how she got out. Megan, thank you so much for joining us here in DBL and having the courage to speak about your story. So you say sugaring is what led you to sex trafficking. What do people not understand about sugaring?
So many things are not understood about sugaring. I think one of the big misconceptions is just how it's packaged and sold to like teens and college age young adults, that it's just a luxurious lifestyle, that it's just companionship and you get, nice clothing and trips. And the reality is very different from that.
Wow, I mean, this story has so many layers, because you were taking care of your two kids while you were sex trafficked. So how did this life change their childhood?
Yes, my children lived with me during my trafficking, and they were not exposed to the trafficking itself. What they were exposed to was just domestic violence, very unstable housing, very inconsistent parenting.
All right, Megan, so I got to follow up with this. You had a lot of run-ins with the law in Las Vegas. How did you handle that situation?
So when I moved to Vegas, my very first night in Las Vegas, my pimp put me in the casinos and I was arrested that very first night. Over the next about 8 or 9 months, I was arrested a total of 10 times in Las Vegas. Not once was I offered help. Not once was I screened for being a potential victim of human trafficking. In fact, I actually had officers during the booking process when I asked, could I wear one of the corrections shirts because I was very cold in the holding cell. They told me, if you're cold, stop doing what you're doing and don't dress the way that you're dressing. And that's the reality for women in prostitution, how we're treated across the country, unfortunately.
You left this life in 2012, but it was all you knew at the time. How were you able to leave? What did you do?
So it really was not a single event. And I think that's really important for people to understand. I think trafficking is very sensationalized. So we think of, kicking down a door and being able to step out and move on with your life. And that's not the case most of the time. My children have been at the forefront through all of this. So keeping my kids safe, providing for my children, realizing the harms and the danger that they were in, and then wanting something better for them.
Well, Megan, you are quite the comeback story, because you are now the co-founder and director of research at the Avery Center. How is your organization trying to create change?
We have a research arm, and our mission statement is that lived experience must inform change. So we're going to people like myself who hold that lived experience and making sure those voices are elevated.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. It takes so much courage. You are saving lives. DBL Nation, please visit theaverycenter.org to learn more about this incredible organization. It was such a pleasure to talk with you, and I hope we can have you in the studio one day in the future. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
viewers texted us and emailed us to share claims that Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla was arrested for fraud last week. One Facebook post was shared more than 600 times, and this tweet was retweeted more than 1,000 times. So let's verify. Was Pfizer CEO arrested by the FBI? Our sources are Pfizer, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the Westchester County Department of Corrections, and the Administrative Office of the United States Courts. Many of the posts contain a link to a blog called Conservative Beaver. The author cites an unnamed FBI agent as their source and claims Bourla was charged with fraud because he lied about the effectiveness of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, misled customers about side effects, and paid off the government and media. They then claim Bourla is being held while awaiting a bail hearing. Verify checked with the local jail near Bourla's home and the Federal Bureau of Prisons and were unable to find any record that Bourla was in custody. That same day, Bourla was interviewed on CNBC and CNN talking about Pfizer's experimental COVID-19 antiviral pill. And a Pfizer spokesperson succinctly told Verify in an email, quote, "This is a false claim," unquote. Verify also checked with the federal court to search for any charging documents and were unable to find any record, despite the law requiring defendants make an initial court appearance within 72 hours of their arrest. So it's false that Pfizer CEO was arrested by the FBI. Bourla was previously the victim of a viral false claim that he didn't receive Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, but he did. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
College enrollment is down, way down. Fewer folks are signing up for classes across the board, whether it be community college, undergraduate, or graduate programs. Overall, enrollment is down 3.5%. And when you look at just students going to college straight out of high school, that's a 7% drop. The National Student Clearinghouse says we haven't seen a dip this big in more than 50 years. Community college enrollment is down about 15% in the last 2 years. Researchers say this is troubling since community colleges often enroll more low-income students and students of color. Usually, when we're coming out of a recession, college enrollments go up so folks can learn new skills to fill open jobs. That hasn't been the case this time around. The pandemic meant when the economy was recovering and more people usually go to school, recent high school grads went straight for the jobs instead. If more people aren't going to college, then there are fewer skilled workers available to hire, and the economy suffers long term. And that's connecting the dots.
Monday on DBL, 80s pop princess Debbie Gibson joins us live. From her new single to her thoughts on Britney Spears' conservatorship battle. She's telling all. That's Monday on DBL. Welcome back. We want to give a shout out to a teacher in Maryland who won the $1 million Global Teacher Prize. Take a look at how she reacted to the news.
Keshia Thorpe from the United States of America.
Oh my gosh, Keshia Thorpe won the award for spending hours helping kids with college applications and financial aid. She hopes to help students access higher education with the money. Al, you're a former teacher. What do you think?
It's life-changing money for her, but that $1 million is nothing compared to the lives that she changed by getting people into college, changing the trajectory of their family. Well done on her.
Well done. If you guys are leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online. Watch on YouTube, dailyblastlive.com, or our DBL mobile app. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. A new study says more women are going for younger men. We'll tell you the reason behind the age gap trend. And are people as fascinating as they think? Why half of the country says their life could be a book. We're going to chat about it next.
There is, it's a palpable sense of urgency this year among employers who are looking for seasonal workers.
This year, employers are trying hard to convince you to work for them. Want proof? Just look at jobsiteindeed.com. More than 10% of seasonal job postings there mention urgently hiring. Last year, those words only appeared on 1% of postings. Workers are still in short supply. Some are taking their time getting back into the workforce after either getting laid off during the pandemic or quitting. And frankly, it pays to be choosy. If you're looking for a side hustle this holiday, keep an eye out for how an employer is sweetening the pot. Amazon, for example, is offering a signing bonus of $3,000 in some locations, plus an extra $3 an hour for working certain shifts. The bottom line, do your research and don't be afraid to ask for what you want. The extra money you make will help. The holiday season will be more expensive because of product shortages, among other things. And that's connecting the dots. Alexandra Lewis, 9 News.
This November, don't miss a minute of DBL. I cannot wait.
You want to play it safe? Nah, girl, we want to know.
You don't feel like that's a little bit weird?
No. I got to agree with Tori here. Hey, stop. I don't want to hear it.
Here's how I feel. Okay, stop.
I know.
You mean like hooligans?
Is the hooligan problem under control?
There's no such thing as guns.
We're off to a good start.
DBL is always all new every day.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Al, Jeff, and Tori. All right, so it is a cliche, older than time, an older man dating a younger woman. But has new research turned that stereotype over on its heels? It turns out 81% of women would date a younger man, according to a survey by the Today Show. But it's not just the ladies who are lusting after younger guys. An even higher share of men, 90%, said they date a woman 10 years older than them. So what's going on here? Well, Tracy Tudor, a 46-year-old real estate agent from the hit Bravo show $1 Million Listing LA, talked about the allure of her 26-year-old partner, Eric, over the older men that she has dated. Watch what she had to say.
Until I met Eric, I went out with a ton of men who were attracted innately to the fact that I was confident, successful, until we were alone. And then it was like, oh, I don't want you to have too much of an opinion. Right. I like the idea of you, but not really.
And Tori, we are seeing more and more of this, right?
I have a little theory I want to know, and maybe I don't want it to be sexist. I just had a feeling. More women are going to get their master's degree. More women are going to graduate school. More women are becoming doctors, lawyers, engineers. Am I right? They're getting richer. They have their own money. And at some point, I'm wondering if it's become like I don't want to say sugar daddy in that bad way, but if it's become younger men are seeing that it's the women they need to be with so that they can kind of be carried along, as it used to be the women that looked up to the older men back in the 50s and 60s.
Are you describing a sugar mama?
Yeah.
Now, do you think it's also, do you think that, let's say the women aren't rich. Right. Do you think a younger man may just want to be with an older woman?
Like a confident, strong woman?
Yeah, definitely. I watched the show. I love it, by the way.
I do too.
I watch it too.
And I just caught up yesterday. She had a fantastic outfit on. She looked super sexy when she was talking. I'm not even joking. I was like, wow, what a pretty woman. I knew she was dating the younger man. I'm like, man, if I was in my 20s and I'm running, like you said, she's got money, she's established, that confidence is very sexy to me. Yeah.
But you led with she's got money. What if
I was going to Tori's point. Don't put me in there.
No, I'm not.
I already got Taylor Swift's mind coming after me.
I'm absolutely not.
If you're misogynistic, right, Jeff?
I'm curious because we will have the conversation on the show that some women, generally speaking, not all women, but some women will be attracted to older men because of the financial gain. So if we were to put it on the other side, do you think that that same older woman, and I say older lightly because I'm probably older than her or the same age, do you think that she would have that same appeal if she was, just working a 9-to-5 or working, as a waitress? Would she have that same appeal to you? Be honest.
I think so. I think so, and I'll tell you why. I think there's a point in everybody's life, no matter how you identify, where you're kind of looking for the next step. You've done kind of the partying and the wild nights and the crazy arguments and the great breakups, and then you're like, hey, I want somebody that's got a 401k. Yeah. I want somebody that's going to help me make a decision on if I should, buy this franchise and go all in. A big life decision, rather than kind of like a person that's a party partner, So I could see that from anybody, somebody that has a little bit more wisdom. So I could definitely see like that, because the stigma's gone. Why not? Date whoever you want. Have fun.
Would you want to go for a younger man? I don't think I would.
Brooks is 2 years younger, but
that's different.
Yeah, like much younger. I don't think so.
I wouldn't either.
I don't think so.
Seems like too much work.
But it's all about your life experience, like what brought you to that point. Like if you had a lot of responsibility at 13, 14, 15, you might be more of a grown-up. I was a child until I was like 33.
I believe
I was a kid. Yeah, so you would have hated me. Yeah.
Okay, so would you trust a computer to pick your life partner? If you answered no, it turns out you're in the minority. From a poll of 2 1,000 Americans, I know you love studies, Jeff, 3 in 5 would say that they would trust an online compatibility test to pick their partner. But in an ironic twist, the survey also found that most of us are romantics. Nearly 3/4 of adults said they believe in the idea of a soulmate. So that got us wondering, is it possible to say you're a romantic if you'd let a computer pick your soulmate?
Got me wondering what was those people in that B-roll on. They were feeling no pain in the kitchen.
They were happy, weren't they? I think that things are just curated now for you, and that's done by computer and algorithms, right? So Netflix knows what you like, and my iTunes radio, whatever that is, knows what I like. I have my own station. So I don't think this generation has any problem with a computer being part of the decision process because it already is. We use this for absolutely everything. What route should I go? What should I?
We got it.
No, Jeff, I think we needed 30 more examples.
Please tell us how the phone works.
Do you have something to say?
This mug is used for drinking, perhaps water, sometimes coffee.
Jeff, would you want a computer to pick your soulmate, or do you want it the old-fashioned way?
To piggyback of what Tori said, she was making a point. It was just very long-winded. It just narrows things out for you, right? Do you like to go bowling? Do you like romantic restaurants? Do you like sports? It puts all that together and matches you up with people that like similar things.
But y'all get out of here with that.
What?
Is this person attractive?
No.
Period.
Dude.
When you see the picture, that's what it is. If you are not attracted to the person, you're not going to be like, oh, but they like bowling, so I'm going to go out with this human. No, if they're attractive, then you'll look at the rest of the stuff.
No. No.
Here we go.
First and foremost.
That last note, she's trying to think of what she's going to say, so she's like, no.
No, I'm giving you a moment.
Okay,
to
thank you.
respond to
I am ready. I am ready to hear your retort.
I don't care how attractive someone is. If I found out that they did not like dogs, that would be it. If I found out that perhaps they, to Jeff's point, because you brought this up on the show and I'm in full agreement with you, let's say we did go out on our first date and they are rude to the waitress, boom, up, gone.
But you wouldn't be on that first date if you didn't find them attractive.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying that attraction is where that's first.
But you're forgetting that people can gain attraction from commonality.
Yeah,
like,
right, but it's a visual medium. That's why you upload pictures.
No, if there's a Paul Rudd next to a Zac Efron, sure, Zac Efron.
What site is this on, Raya?
Sure, if I'm scrolling, Zac Efron's going to immediately probably catch my eye first because he's more conventionally good looking. However, if I look at Paul Rudd and he's holding a dog, and then the next picture is him holding a baby, and it's just Zac
And other things to manipulate your emotions.
And then the next one is Zac Efron.
What's the next one? Him walking into like a ward for sick kids? That doesn't mean anything.
And then I compare that to Zac Efron with a shirtless photo, I'd be like,
he looks vain now to you.
Thank you.
He looks vain.
Would you guys get out of here? So if a dude has a puppy with him, then and another guy has been working out,
a fish he caught, I like the dog better.
But I'm saying, like, why does that make you vain?
Get over yourself if your photo, not you, the person.
Dang, I was like,
not you, the imaginary person. Get over yourself if your picture is of you and your abs.
Okay, what about you and your bikini? What if you've been working hard and you want to show your body off?
That's fine.
What's wrong with that? I thought it was body positivity.
We're just saying include more about everything.
I wouldn't advise my friend for that to be her profile photo. I don't
Why?
want
You
her
wouldn't want her to get too many likes?
No, I wouldn't want her to attract the wrong man.
But what if it's the right guy that also likes attractive people? But those two people exist.
But
I don't think you should lead with
if you
that.
put like I enjoy exercise, now you're in that category, and all your photos of you in a six-pack and them in a six-pack too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it narrows down what you like.
The algorithms.
Right.
You
Like
can
I was
do it
saying.
in a different way. You can show
Like
off
you
your
were saying,
six-pack.
we all know you did it for 5 minutes.
Right.
We heard.
But you could show off your six-pack like running on the beach, catching a frisbee with your dog.
But don't just be like that.
Enough with the dog.
Listen, if you got a picture, of a puppy in your profile picture, you're a nerd.
Yeah, just go take a picture.
You're manipulating people.
You really are.
You're like, look how much I love dogs.
Okay.
So if somebody watched this conversation and posted a picture with them next to a dog that is not theirs to manipulate people,
That's the same as taking next to a car that isn't yours.
That's a
the same
psychopath.
thing.
That's different.
So is it a little
where would you
puppy?
meet those online?
No, there's real men out there and women that like animals. Newsflash.
But it's the same as posing next to a car. You're putting out a false persona.
right?
Not if you really like animals. Yeah, what if they like dogs?
Okay, enough.
Nobody likes them that much.
Yes, they do. Here's a fun fact for you. 1 in 2 Americans think that their life story is worth a major book deal.
Mine's called My Life with These Dogs.
I love you, Al.
Okay, so
Chapter 1, The Vet.
55% or over half the country believe that their experiences would make them an interesting character for the next great American novel. As for who should write their story, respondents were split between Harry Potter's author J.K. Rowling and Stephen King, author of many, of course, horror and supernatural books.
That's because no one else knew any other authors.
That's true.
That is the
Tori,
only
that's
reason
absolutely true.
You pick those two.
I don't
That's
like
it.
when people do the same thing when they go, oh, who'd you want to have dinner with in heaven?
Jesus.
And it's like Martin Luther King,
Yeah, right,
Abe Lincoln.
right.
It's like, would they want to have dinner with you? Like, I think that's very weird. Let's start lower with like a new author.
Put the authors aside. You're missing like the big cheese of it all. I don't know why I said that.
It's like you instantly went back to the 1920s.
The big cheese.
The big picture.
What about the fact that 50% of people think that they should have a book written about them?
Yeah, they think they're the head honcho, Jeff.
It fits perfectly. You know what I mean? I thought 30% of people were insane. Maybe it's 50. Because people post everything. Look what I'm eating for lunch. Look at this. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. And nobody for sure is going to write a book about you. That's for sure.
Well, I would say this. The people who do have really interesting stories are almost reluctant to tell them. Like, you kind of got to get it out
50%? Like, have you been outside?
Yeah.
People are not interested.
What do you think the average person's story would be about?
Love and loss.
I don't even know.
Losing somebody from high school and maybe finding them later.
I do think it's interesting to, and I know I'm going to just nerd out for 2 seconds real quick, not long-winded. The idea that you are
That was long-winded.
Okay. The idea that you're the center of your own story, us getting more and more thinking that, only makes whatever this study is, Americans, I'm not sure globally, we're getting just more and more vain and more centric, egocentric. That's not a great sign, to be honest.
Well, everything that we touch is focused on us now. You know, you get in your car. Sometimes the car will say, "Welcome, Sam." You know, like everything.
I've never seen that.
You've never. Well,
No.
upgrade. It's. Sam's got a way nicer car than me.
Yes, she does.
But no, like everything is like you look and your lists are curated for you. Your Etsy's curated for you. The dog food you like, you'll get specials that'll come up for you. So I think everybody does think this is all about me.
Yeah, it's your story.
And after a while, like I could definitely see how people would be like, my life's interesting.
It's the social media effect, unfortunately.
100%.
Social media has given everyone a voice. Social media has given everybody a fan club. They see people like initially their certain tweets, and then all of a sudden they think they're clever. And not to say that no one's clever, but it does give a false sense of grandiose reality for a lot of people, in my opinion.
It's narcissistic.
Yeah.
What?
I agree.
And what does that lead to? That leads to
Would you write a book about yourself?
No.
But no, see, but
You're in chapter 8.
Tori is the exact. I know we're joking around, but I'll be dead serious. And my girl and I were talking about you like a couple days ago, and I was just like, I love Tori because she's so fun, but she's also super tough. And my girlfriend, she was like, you know, Tori went through clinical depression. She picked herself back up. She takes a joke well and keeps moving. She takes criticism well. Like Tori has led in, and she was hit by a car listening to music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listening to Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
That's right. You love you to. Whoa!
That was like kind of like your rock bottom.
Oh,
It was
very.
literal and figurative.
Literally rock bottom.
Yeah.
I look up and there's a tire, and I'm like, well, this is it. This is the bottom.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you saying that. But I also think that like people who think I'm trying not to be so egocentric. That's what I'm training on. That's what I'm working on because I can tend to go that way. So I'm working on it. Thank you, though. That means a lot to me.
Tori's going to go call her agent to pitch her book deal.
And how is everything that like some celebrity writes a book, it's always a New York Times bestseller?
I know.
How do they get to the top of that list?
I think because they do pre-sales.
I know, but they get on the list. It's like
Lala didn't get on the list. Yeah, I know you watch Bandies.
yeah, but she's got talked about. But I'm like, how does this person have a bestseller book?
There's a thing like it's pre-sales, and then sometimes the book place will buy the books ahead of time.
Sorry, we're out of time. Coming up on DBL, Stephanie Jones walked the red carpet and snagged an interview. There she is with 50 Shades of Grey star Jamie Dornan. Don't go away.
Closed captioning provided by
Okay, Lanisha Flores wrote us. I was surprised. I thought the panel would have a different take on this. I think a lot of people have amazing stories to share, and when we share our stories, we realize we've all been through a lot.
It's okay if you have a story to tell. Everyone has a story to tell. To write a book is a different thing, right? You need like great life experiences, great stories. What you ate for lunch isn't a story. Because your mom says you're the funniest one in the group doesn't mean you should write a book about yourself. People need to understand rejection. There is no rejection in life. You know what I mean? Now 50% of people in America could write a book. No, don't have that confidence going through life because you probably can't. But if you want to write a book about yourself, you definitely can. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People
Don't expect it.
Yeah, and if you have that confidence to think like, I could, listen, I love the confidence part of it, but you have to earn that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't mean to like put people down, but you have to earn some sort of respect to tell a story about yourself. You can't just be like, my friend in high school said I was funny, I'm gonna write a book about myself.
Right.
This is an autobiography, you're not making something up.
And I would say the people that I know that have the most interesting lives don't do entertainment. They just like have had these incredible lives, and they, because they were born into it, they don't think it's that interesting.
The people who don't think they could write a book about themselves could write a book about themselves, and the people who think they can probably are not that interesting.
But I do think there's probably a story in everyone that's just a little odd. Like I bet there's a little twist to everyone. One interesting.
But the human experience is kind of generalized, but everybody does have little twists on it. So I think it's cool, you know?
What do you think is the coolest story you've ever had in your life?
Jeff's had a lot.
You've had a lot, to be honest.
And I wouldn't even write a book. I have a lot of stories, but
do
I
have
wouldn't
a
write
lot.
a book. But again, I don't think I think it's like egotistical to think that you could write a book about yourself that people are going to read.
But I think if you took your stories and made lessons out of them, I think that
I like lessons. See, that's more of a book, but an autobiography.
We're getting the wrap up, but also like with it too.
She hates it.
For yourself, not for the people who would read it.
Welcome back to DBL. We had a little bit of Hollywood happening in our very own backyard. Steph Jones took us to the red carpet at the Denver Film Festival, where she got an exclusive interview with Jamie Dornan, aka Christian Grey. Tori, we spoke with him about his new movie, and you won't believe what Steph got him to do. That's today's Chatting with the Stars on the red carpet.
I'm Stephanie Jones here with Daily Blast Live at Denver's Film Festival, where I'm going to be interviewing the one and only Jamie Dornan for the showcase of his new movie Belfast. I am so excited. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Jamie's here. He's talking to us next. I'm going to try and make him say, wish me luck. Jamie, thank you so much for chatting with me tonight. I'm so excited that you're here in Denver. Now, last night at the premiere, you just burst out in a rendition of Everlasting Love, which completely rocked. What was it that made you get up on that stage? Had you had a few drinks? Was it a bet?
I'd had, was it a bet? I think I had just the right amount. I had a couple of vodka martinis and maybe a glass of white wine. I never drink white wine. And it was enough. It had been sort of mooted, the idea that I would maybe get up, and I said, listen, I'll see how I feel on the night. And yeah, I was just the right level of pissed and got up there. And yeah, I think it went down okay. I don't know.
It went down a treat. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It was okay. Yeah, it was fun.
I think you've got a karaoke song for life now.
That would be really embarrassing if I spent my life doing that song.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Will you sing a line of Everlasting Love with me? I'll sing it. All right. Open up your eyes.
Then you'll realize.
Here I stand with my
everlasting love.
Need you by my side. Oh yeah.
Girl to be my bride.
I want that bit. Never be denied.
Everlasting love. Open up your eyes. Then you
Talking about Belfast, it's a little bit more than coincidental that you took on the role as Pa in the movie. So how does that line up with your experience growing up in Northern Ireland?
It all resonates, you know. you can't be from that part of the world and not be affected by a conflict that went on for 30 years. And but for me, the chance to tell this story and to be a small part and to been able to, after 50 years, let this story out and show a different side of that part of the world. You know, we've seen Belfast depicted many times on screen before in Academy Award winning movies that Jim Sheridan directed over the years, whatever, but never like this and never through the eyes of a 9-year-old, and I think that's what makes it interesting.
This is the time to think about making a new start.
I know nothing else but Belfast.
Exactly. There's a whole world out there.
You worked alongside the Queen, Dame Judi Dench. What was it like working with her? And were there any like little weird oddities or cute little hobbies or things that you picked up about her that we might not know about?
Kieran Hines, who plays my dad in it, Judy plays my mum, and Kieran says something lovely about Judy. It's like she's a rebel, and that pretty much sums her up. You know, she's just always on the edge of something fun happening. You know, and she's obviously such a titan of an actress. You know, and to be around that and feel that energy every day, it's amazing. But she's fun above everything else.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. DBL Nation Belfast is in theatres on November the 12th. Do not miss it, and I'll see you later.
$3,200 to fix your car.
A post circulating on Facebook claims the coloration of the woolly bear caterpillars, also called woolly worms, can predict the upcoming winter. If the woolly bear is mostly black, it means a harsher winter. If mostly brown, it means a milder winter. If brown at the head with more black near the tail, it means a winter that starts mild and ends harshly, and vice versa. So let's verify. Do woolly worms predict the pending winter? Our sources are the National Weather Service and Frank Fowler, biologist with McNeely Pest Control.
There's been a lot of studies, a lot of folklore about the woolly bear, and no studies have ever concluded that they actually can predict future weather events. However, the coloration and the length of the bands do have a correlation to how severe the previous winter was. When they're born in the spring, they're all black, and the more warm growing season they have, the wider that brown rust-colored band becomes in the middle.
The National Weather Service notes the coloring also indicates the age of the caterpillar. Each time it sheds its coat, it becomes redder. As for why the insects are so furry, Fowler said the coat protects them from freezing, down to -90 degrees Fahrenheit. So we can verify, no, woolly bear caterpillars cannot predict the upcoming winter, but their coloring can indicate the severity of the previous winter.
Everyone is talking about DBL.
You guys are a blast. Every single thing you're talking about, I want to sit there with you.
You sound great and you look great.
Thank you very much, Sean Stamos. That means a lot.
What a pleasure it is to look at all of you.
You're all doing just a great job.
I love the show because it's smart, it's entertaining.
Y'all got really good questions.
You guys are on fire.
DBL is feeling the love.
I was listening to your conversation. It's so interesting.
Oh my God. Welcome back. Gas prices are climbing. There's a transition, but we've got some tips to help you spend less money at the pump. That's today's Auto Alert, sponsored by Ox Car Care. So first, keep an eye on your tire pressure. Even a few pounds below the recommended tire pressure can have a big impact on your miles per gallon. Next, take the junk out of the trunk. The more fuel it needs to use. That's right. And then use cruise control. The system will actually use the least fuel possible to maintain your desired speed. Ox Car Care is dedicated to providing you with an amazing auto protection plan, experience that works with your budget. And if you're looking for better car care, give them a call, 1-800-206-9194. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify Verify viewers texted us and emailed us to share claims that Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla was arrested for fraud last week. One Facebook post was shared more than 600 times, and this tweet was retweeted more than 1,000 times. So let's verify. Was Pfizer CEO arrested by the FBI? Our sources are Pfizer, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the Westchester County Department of Corrections, and the Administrative Office of the United States Courts. Many of the posts contain a link to a blog called Conservative Beaver. The author cites an unnamed FBI agent as their source and claims Bourla was charged with fraud because he lied about the effectiveness of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, misled customers about side effects, and paid off the government and media. They then claim Bourla is being held while awaiting a bail hearing. Verify checked with the local jail near Bourla's home and the Federal Bureau of Prisons and were unable to find any record that Bourla was in custody. That same day, Bourla was interviewed on CNBC and CNN talking about Pfizer's experimental COVID-19 antiviral pill. And a Pfizer spokesperson succinctly told Verify in an email, quote, "This is a false claim," unquote. Verify also checked with the federal court to search for any charging documents and were unable to find any record despite the law requiring defendants make an initial court appearance within 72 hours of their arrest. So it's false that Pfizer CEO was arrested by the FBI. Bourla was previously the victim of a viral false claim that he didn't receive Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, but he did. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
College enrollment is down, way down. Fewer folks are signing up for classes across the board, whether it be community college, undergraduate, or graduate programs. Overall, enrollment is down 3.5%. And when you look at just students going to college straight out of high school, that's a 7% drop. The National Student Clearinghouse says we haven't seen a dip this big in more than 50 years. Community college enrollment is down about 15% in the last 2 years. Researchers say this is troubling since community colleges often enroll more low-income students and students of color. Usually, when we're coming out of a recession, college enrollments go up so folks can learn new skills to fill open jobs. That hasn't been the case this time around. The pandemic meant when the economy was recovering and more people usually go to school, recent high school grads went straight for the jobs instead. If more people aren't going to college, then there are fewer skilled workers available to hire, and the economy suffers long term. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Comments? We're so ridiculous. Yes, I just want to give Lanisha Flores some time. She said, I'm surprised. I thought the panel would have a different take on the sharing stories. I think a lot of people would have amazing stories to share. And when we share our stories, we realize we've all been through a lot. So I think that's a nice take on that. Maybe stories are a way to connect us.
That's actually a beautiful take.
Yeah.
I wish I would have thought of that.
Yeah, me too. Lanisha, thank you.
Write a book about it.
DBL's
I like that Friday
We'll see you
segment.
guys
My
Monday,
man.
same time, same place. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Think about writing a book.
There is, it's a palpable sense of urgency this year among employers who are looking for seasonal workers.
This year, employers are trying hard to convince you to work for them.